Welcome to Coin Punks, where we cover the top stories in the crypto space, helping you get informed on all things related to digital assets. No frills, no shills. In this episode, we'll discuss the case for Bitcoin, the granddaddy of all digital assets. But first, let's jump into today's stories after we roll the intro bumper. First up, taken from CoinMonks, not to be mistaken for Coin Punks, the Bank of America Worldwide Research Team issued an article outlining the advantages of making Bitcoin legal tender in El Salvador. On June 5th, during the Bitcoin 2021 conference, President Nayib Bukele delivered a pre-recorded announcement. El Salvador would be the first country in the world to accept Bitcoin as legal cash. On June 8th, barely 3 days following that announcement, the Legislative Assembly approved the Bitcoin bill, indicating that El Salvador will implement this proposal in about 3 months. In the early hours of August 2nd, the Bank of America Worldwide Research Team issued an article outlining the advantages of making Bitcoin legal tender in El Salvador. Let's move on to our second story from Cointelegraph. Binance banned in Malaysia, given 14 days notice to shut down operations. The crypto exchange has been served with a notice to stop offering its services in the country. Malaysia is the latest regulatory theater to come after Binance, as authorities in the country have accused the exchange giant of continuing to operate in the country illegally. According to an announcement released on Friday, the Security Commission in Malaysia has served a public reprimand against Binance, calling for the exchange and all of its entities to cease operations in the country. The SC stated that Binance continued to operate in Malaysia despite previous warnings. Binance has 14 business days from Tuesday to comply with the order that includes disabling its website and mobile apps, as well as discontinuing any media campaign for its services in the country. Let's move on to our next story now. According to Crypto.com, the number of global crypto users erupts to 221 million in the first half of this year. Digital asset exchange and payment platform Crypto.com says that the number of global crypto users has massively surged in the first half of 2021. In a new study, Crypto.com claims that the growth of the global crypto market has rapidly accelerated from 106 million users in January to 221 million users in June. The crypto exchange says that Bitcoin's meteoric rise earlier this year is the primary contributor to the explosion in size of the crypto population. Notably, it only took 4 months to double the global crypto population from 100 million to 200 million. By comparison, it took 9 months to reach 100 million from 65 million since we began tracking these numbers. Time for our segment, What You Know About Crypto. Who or what is a Bitcoin maximalist? One who primarily holds Bitcoin along with some altcoins. A person who believes only and emphatically in Bitcoin, someone who has been holding BTC since its launch in 2009, a cryptocurrency expert who mines Bitcoin. Answer: a person who believes only and emphatically in Bitcoin. Maxis fiercely believe in decentralized finance and would argue that Bitcoin is the only worthwhile digital asset. Moving on to our commentary piece for today, let's talk about Bitcoin. By now, you've heard about it. It's on the daily news, and you probably have a relative, colleague, or a crazy uncle who has bought some at this point. And you may have noticed on Twitter that it's all the rage these days to have cult-like laser eyes in one's profile picture if one owns some Bitcoin while tweeting, "Not gonna sell," "HODL," "Buy the dip," or "Diamond hands." What? You haven't heard these terms before? Don't worry, we'll get to them down the road. In Bitcoin speak, the BTC extremists are referred to as maxis, and for them, this coin is more than a digital asset. It's a philosophy, a way of life, as they tout libertarian ideals, exalt decentralized finance, and dream of equity for all the plebs out there. We'll get to plebs later. And that it's going to provide financial hope or even financial freedom for the masses. And yes, you could argue that maxis drank the proverbial crypto Kool-Aid and have had too many doses of hopium. Even within the Bitcoin camp, there isn't complete agreement. Some will argue it's a currency and that it may become a global currency, even if it takes several years to occur. And then there are others that maintain it's a digital asset, similar in nature to gold, only far more scarce, easier to transport, and that it is pure monetary energy that can be passed down to future generations, not unlike a property in cyberspace. I know what you're thinking, and like you, I was thinking the same thing not very long ago. Oh, it's video game money, it's too risky, it's too volatile, it's for millennials or pretty much anyone who's under 30. It has no intrinsic value, it won't be around in 5 years, and it has no business being in a proper investment portfolio. Even if it is worth investing in, it's far too expensive now, and I've probably missed the boat. It's been said that it takes a good 100 hours to wrap your head around this asset. And once it's truly understood, pros and cons, you'll wish you grabbed some, at least a year ago, and regret not getting in on the ground floor way back in 2010 when you could buy a couple of pizzas for a mere 10,000 BTC. Admittedly, it does require a fair amount of time to wrap your head around blockchain technology. Most mere mortals can't sit around and geek out over computing science, let alone learn esoteric terminology or the almost mythical nature of Bitcoin's inception by Satoshi Nakamoto, whomever they or he may be. At the core of any philosophical, spiritual, or financial belief is conviction. And conviction will only come with research, followed by understanding, and ultimately adoption or rejection. While there are others out there who can put forward a far, far better explanation on the case for Bitcoin, here are some qualities that may make you consider it. To borrow from MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor, Bitcoin is unique because of 3 particular qualities. First, it's an asset. Second, it's a network. And third, it's a protocol. As an asset, it's capped at 21 million coins and will never go up. People can lose Bitcoin, but can't create more. As a decentralized network, it's an open network, which means you could move a block of $1 million from New York to Tokyo in an hour for a few dollars. It's a very powerful settlement network. As a protocol use case, a counterparty can't counterfeit it, can't hypothecate it, or seize it. That's what causes Bitcoin to have value. To borrow from Bitcoin Magazine's quotes from Blockstream president Adam Back, the 5 most useful properties of Bitcoin are as follows. The first differentiating feature of Bitcoin is that it's a bearer eCash. This means that it works like physical cash. It's irreversible. You make a payment, it's done. You can't take it back. Second, it's permissionless. The permissionless nature of Bitcoin is a key selling point in the eyes of developers. If someone wants to build a financial application on top of Bitcoin, there's no need to obtain permission from anyone. Third, privacy. Privacy is one of Bitcoin's most important features, but the reality is that the state of privacy in Bitcoin is quite poor. A lack of privacy harms Bitcoin's fungibility, which, in turn, decreases its usefulness as a bearer eCash. The permissionless nature of Bitcoin is also put into question if transactions are too easily tracked on the blockchain. Fourth, we have fungibility. Fungibility is a basic attribute of any money. The precedent for fungibility in currencies was set by a Scottish court back in the 1700s. The case involved a man, Hugh Crawford, who sent an associate 2 banknotes in the mail, but they went missing before they arrived at their destination. One of the banknotes then showed up at a Royal Bank of Scotland, and Crawford took the bank to court in an effort to take back what he thought was rightfully his. If the ruling had been the other way around, and Crawford had gotten his notes returned to him, then nobody would want to accept banknotes without rushing to the bank and depositing them. That would cause a currency to basically fail at its primary purpose. The final attribute of Bitcoin that makes it useful is that it's a virtual commodity and a non-political currency, much like gold in the physical world. This is where Bitcoin gets its nickname, digital gold. There is no central party that can adjust the rate of new coin production. This helps the system avoid various issues such as inflation, commonly associated with central banks and fiat currencies. As you can see, understanding and embracing Bitcoin will take you some time. But once you fall down the rabbit hole and get orange-pilled, you'll see its potential, but also need to consider its pitfalls. Okay guys, this wraps up things for today's video. Leave your comments below on today's stories and also drop suggestions for what you'd like coverage on in the future. And if you like today's show, give it a like and subscribe by gently tapping the subscribe button. If you're on the go, you can get the same content in our podcast. Hey, thanks for watching and catch you in the next one.